Well, all right, Rage heads. I'm going to talk about Rage just for the fact that it seems like a lot of people seem to like my Rage video that I did, their tier ranking. And I love Rage. I could talk about them all day. I'm just going to do like my top 5 favorite Rage albums and just give a little bit of info about Rage. And so Rage is a German heavy metal band. I'll read right here what it says on Wikipedia. Rage is a German heavy metal band formed in 1984 by Peter P.V. Wagner. They were part of the German heavy speed metal heavy speed power metal scene, which emerged in the early to mid 1980s and have been referred to as one of the country's so-called Big Four of power metal. You know, I've never really thought of them as like the Big Four of power metal, but you know what? I could see that. They're definitely in my Big Four. So let's see here. Along with Gravedigger, Helloween, and Running Wild, it's also part of the Big Four. See, I disagree with that. I would think Blind Guardian would have to be in there, but that's me. That's me. Rage was formed in 1984 under the name Avenger after releasing their debut album Prayers of Steel and their Depraved to Black EP in 1985. The band changed their name to Rage because there was another band in England that shared the same name. Yes, I believe a new wave of British heavy metal band also called Avenger. Originally, the new name was meant to be Furious Rage, but it was eventually shortened to Rage. I kind of like it just as Rage. See, 13 musicians have been part of Rage over the years, with the most successful lineup being from the period now known as the Refuge years. I would so agree with that. This lineup featured Manny Schmidt, Chris, I could never say this dude's last name. I'm not even going to do it. We'll just call him Chris E., the drummer. The second notable lineup was the one formed with Mike Tirana and Victor Smolsky. Arguably so, that makes sense. Although I wouldn't say that's my second favorite era, but through the years, Rage established themselves as a notably successful band and as pioneers of the power metal scene, including in their music elements of progressive metal and classical music, if I can read. In 1996, Rage was one of the first metal bands to write and record an album with a full symphonic orchestra. Laguna Mortis. I always called them Laguna Mortis. I don't know. Yeah, that is really neat that they did that. I mean, that they were actually playing with an orchestra like that. Rage has released 26 albums, counting the Avenger, and I'll call them Laguna Mortis Orchestra releases. Over the past 30 years, in total, more than 50 releases, counting DVDs, EPs, Japan editions, and VHS. Wow. Wow, I didn't actually know there's that many. Wow. A remarkable international success with more than 5 million records sold. Rage has had more than 40 music chart entries. Wow. Dude, that's freaking amazing. So, and of course, you know, it says 26 albums, but you know, you can kind of count Refuge, you can count, I don't know, 10 Years in Rage is almost an album in itself too. So yeah, so a couple things I actually did not know that I learned right here. You've witnessed that I did not know that they were considered part of the Big Four of German power metal. But yeah, the era with Manny Schmidt is definitely my favorite. I just feel like that era was just perfection. It's just the most, like, I liked the sound of Peavy's voice back then. You know, he kind of took that clean voice where he was doing a lot of the high vocals and the shriekiness that he used to do, and kind of mixed it with the more modern raspy vocal style he started doing. which I like. I kind of like the blend in between. I don't like when he goes full on too raspy like he does now. But, you know, but I don't mind his clean voice. I actually really like his clean voice. But Manny Schmidt, his riffs, I think, were some of the best. And even though I think Victor Smolsky was their best, technically their best guitarist, I can't help but I prefer Manny Schmidt because I just like his style so much more. And he is a great guitarist, don't get me wrong. Victor does things that'll blow your mind, though. So, I don't know. But I like everything Rage has ever done. There's no albums that I dislike. And, you know, really, I think Rage should have been way bigger than what they were. I really, really do. But let me talk about my top 5. So, some of these are going to be kind of predictable from, you know, what I've just talked about. The only one that's outside of the box of what's predictable, my 5th favorite Rage album, and this is just something that's happened over time. I never thought that this album would be this special to me, but it just came that way. End of All Days. I don't know why I like this album so much. Blackened Mind, I think, is considered one of the biggest classics of this time. But this album, and it's not even really that heavy. It's a lot more melodic than anything, but the songs are just so good. The melodies and the choruses are just so freaking good. I don't know why I like it so much. It's just it's just a good album from beginning to end. I can listen to this whole thing without wanting to skip a track once. But like most Rage albums, I can pretty well do that. But this one, I don't know. I really don't. There's the inside. Back when Peavy had long hair. I tell you what, looking at his Metal Archives picture, man, he ain't even dyeing his beard no more. He's totally gray. But, man, Peavy's just, he's a legend, you know. Like, I don't know. He's just done a lot of stuff. I envy that dude. My next favorite, you know what? This might be a little contradictory to my tier ranking video. I don't think I put this album as an S tier. Now, I know this sounds contradictory. Do I think it's... Okay, I'll just show the album. Trapped. Okay, I didn't put it S tier, but I'm still including it in my top 5. Let me explain this. As an album, I think there's other albums that are more interesting musically, technically better, but I like to listen to this one more. I know that's really weird to explain. Like, you ever just listen to something that just gives off a vibe that you like, even if it isn't, like, you know that it's not their best work in your opinion, but you just feel like you just like something because you do. This is one of those albums. There's something about this era of Rage that just actually can make me happy, and I don't know why. I don't know. There's just something about the band, the way they write their melodies, the way they can be like so charismatic, especially like Peavy and his voice, you know, like, I don't know. This is just one of my favorites and probably one of the best album covers they ever had, even though it has really nothing to do with why I like the album. But for the record, it's pretty cool. Is that Andreas Marshall? Did a lot of like Blind Guardian covers and stuff. So yeah, next favorite. This one's hard. They're pretty close. I'll say this is my 3rd favorite. Perfect Man. And funny enough, when I first heard this, I thought it was odd, and I didn't really know what to think about it. I couldn't really listen to it that much. I would like listen to it thinking it's kind of cool, but I don't know. It's a little off-putting because there's so many weird ideas, and I mean, there really is. There's things on here like, gosh, I don't know, supersonic hydromatic, like the chorus that's like, it's almost stupid, but but I like it. Some of the lyrics just sound kind of silly, like death in the afternoon. I don't know. It's a cool song though. Don't you fear the don't fear the winter. Don't you fear the winter? I'll keep you safe and warm. Like what? I don't know. Just some of the lyrics are just like what. But the music is so good. But some of the riffs are just like, where did you come up with this? Like, what were you influenced by when you wrote this? Like, they're just so weird. But I like it. Like, it took me a while just to completely understand this album, wrap my brain around it. But once I did, like, there's nothing like it. There's no album on the planet anywhere close to this. Like, it is so weird. But it's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, this is the inside. I didn't really show this. Actually, original pressing of Trapped, which is kind of cool. I prefer original pressings, honestly, because I like things to stay original as much as possible. Like I said before, I don't listen to old music because I want it to sound modern. Unless it's got a really messed up production. I don't want to hear any changes. Next, Secrets in a Weird World. This album can be a little weird at times, but it's a lot more normal, straightforward than Perfect Man. And it came out right after. This one's got a little more just your typical 80s speed metal, reverby type of thing. There's some thrashy moments, but mainly a lot of power metal. You can even hear some Halloween type influence in this, in my opinion. In some of the choruses and stuff like that. And Peavy's voice, this is back when he just sung high and did a lot of like squalling and stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of miss that Peavy. I don't know why you don't do that anymore, but I miss it. You know, and this album's not without its silly things, like Talk to Grandpa. There's a song called Talk to Grandpa. It's not a ballad either. I don't know, everything on this. Time Waits for No One, Make My Day, The Inner Search, Invisible Horizons. I mean, I don't know. The whole thing's good. But again, it's Manny Schmidt on guitar. You know, like everything but Reflections of a Shadow is a Manny Schmidt album. So it goes to show you that is my favorite era. And my top favorite, Missing Link. Like Rage at its utmost perfection, in my opinion. Production, the guitar tone, Peavy's voice is just the perfect sound. It's right where it needs to be, like between the old and the new. And every track on this is freaking awesome. I mean, Firestorm, Nevermore, Refuge, where they got the name Refuge for the side project. The Pit and the Pendulum, From the Underworld, Certain Day. I mean, this whole thing's good. And one of my top favorite songs is Lost in the Ice, a big 9-minute and 39-second epic, which they don't do enough epics. It's one thing Rage hasn't done a lot of that I kind of wish they did more of, because I think they could really write good epics if they wanted to. They just don't really. They're more about, like, let's write a bunch of normal songs, maybe even too many for an album, and put them on there. Because usually a lot of these albums have, like, you know, over 10 songs or so on some of them. To me, I think that's too many tracks. But when you're Rage and you make every track good, I guess it's kind of okay. But yeah, so there's what I like. My top 5 right there, at least for now. It'll probably always be, you know, that era of Rage is my top favorite. The End of All Days choice is just kind of like, I'm just looking back, I'm just looking through the whole collection. I'm like, you know, I don't know what it is, but this album calls to me to listen to it more than some of the others, and I don't know why. And I like some of the ones that other people don't talk about very much. Like, I like Ghosts. I like 13. I think they're very good melodically, very good atmospheric albums, and they don't get talked about. But you know, and Victor Smolsky, I think my biggest beef with him is he's really technical, but the whole era is kind of when they kind of overproduce, sort of. A little bit just too polished. His guitar tone, I always thought, was just way too polished sounding. That was kind of my only problem, but man, I mean, All Rage is good, so that's just me, man. That's just me. And I've got to meet P.V. Wagner once. It was very cool guy. I actually got to talk to him and Manny Schmidt and Chris E. Talked to him about a good 20 minutes before we decided to go watch the band Pretty Maids play on 70,000 Tons of Metal. So that was really, really cool. So I got one of his guitar picks over here too. I take it off the wall, but I got like a shadow box with some picks in it. Got Blind Guardians, I got one of John Schaefer's, I got one of P.V. Wagner's, and some random other ones. But I'll show that off some point. But anyway, if you like this video, like, subscribe. I'll talk about some more Rage some other time. And till next time, stay metal.